In our next sequence of sessions about The Owl Who Was Afraid of the Dark, we're going to be looking at narrative, and we're going to be trying to create our own chapter that could be included in this book. Today what we're going to be looking at is discussing and recording ideas. So this is where we're going to be thinking about what our chapter could be about. So before we're able to start creating our own chapter, of course, we need to remember what happened in the story itself. So we're going to have a little look at a story map, and your job is going to be to talk through the main events with someone else. Maybe they've read the story, maybe they haven't. But I want you to try and remember as much as possible about what happened in the different events in this story. When you're retelling this story, you'll be thinking about these questions to help. Who is the main character? How do they feel about the dark at the beginning of the book? How do they feel about the dark at the end of the book? And why? What has happened to change their minds? So pause the video, think about these 4 questions and the story map, and try and retell the story to a partner. Come and join me when you're ready to move on with this. So let's have a little look at this story, and let's remember how each of the different characters that plot meets describes the dark and why. So let's think about the titles of a chapter. So can we remember the reasons why these 7 characters like the dark? We've got the little boy, the old lady, the Boy Scout, the little girl with the ponytail, the Father Christmas lady, the man with the telescope, and finally Orion, the black cat. So let's see how you got on by looking at the different reasons why these people liked the dark. So let's begin with the little boy, whose chapter was titled Dark is Exciting. And this was because I can see fireworks and have a bonfire. Our second chapter, we met the old lady, who thought dark is kind. And this was because it helps hide my age and helps me remember the good times. The third chapter was the Boy Scout, who thought dark is fun. And this was because we can have campfires, sing songs and play games in the dark. Chapter 4 was Dark is Necessary, where the little girl with the ponytail explained. This was because without it, Father Christmas wouldn't come. In chapter 5, we met the Father Christmas lady, who explained dark is fascinating, and her reason for this? Well, it's because of all the interesting animals that come out at night time. Our next chapter, the man with the telescope, explained that dark is wonderful, and this was because of all the stars and constellations you can see and study, which leads us to chapter 7, our final chapter, where we meet Orion the black cat, who told us dark is beautiful. And his reasoning for this? Because there are different beautiful things and different beautiful nights in different beautiful seasons. So now let's pause for a bit and let's think about in what other positive ways could the dark be described. And I've started a sentence, dark is just the same as every chapter in the book. Dark is exciting, dark is kind, dark is fun, dark is necessary, dark is fascinating, dark is wonderful, dark is beautiful. And what I want you now to do is pause the video and think about how you can complete this sentence by explaining why dark is a positive thing. And just a little bit of advice here, if you decide that you want something like dark is exciting, see whether you can find a synonym for that word. Try using a thesaurus to see what other words have the same meaning but are written differently. Come and join me when you've got some ideas. Now, from your selection of dark is sentences, I want you to choose one, because over the next few lessons we're going to plan and write an extra chapter for The Owl Who Was Afraid of the Dark, and this is going to be based on your new chapter title that you've magically already created. Now hopefully when we read The Owl Who Was Afraid of the Dark, you identified that each chapter follows a similar structure or is created following the same pattern. The structure refers to the way that the events in each chapter are organised. So this thing is always at the beginning, then something like this normally happens, and then each chapter finishes with something like that. So we're going to be thinking about a structure that is in every chapter to help model what we're going to be writing. Because you're going to be thinking of these events that are repeated in almost all, if not all, the chapters in the book. So think about the different things that always happen. And then come and join me when you're ready to investigate these a little bit more. So now I'm going to share with you some events that I think happen in most of the chapters. And when you see them, I want you to think about how you could put them into the correct order. I want them to be placed in chronological order as they happen within the normal chapters in our story. We have that Plop goes back to the tree. He tells his parents what he's learned about the dark. We're told that at night Plop is fed by his parents and he is always hungry. We have Plop's parents telling him to go out and find out about the dark by talking to someone. We've got Plop's parents asking him how he feels about the dark now, and he replies, "I still do not like it at all." We've got that Plop has a conversation and finds out some positive aspects of the dark. We've got that Plop is awake during the daytime and he annoys his parents who are trying to sleep. And we have Plop falls out of a tree and he's mistaken for something other than an owl. So now what I want you to do is pause the video and look at those 7 points that are up on the screen, and I want you to try and put them in order chronologically. So start at the beginning, the very first thing you think happens in most chapters, and work through in order until you can identify the very last thing that you think happens in the chapter. Come and join me when you're ready to look at this so we can review how we got on. So let's see how you got on. Did you order these events correctly or the same way as me? Well, most of our chapters begin with Plop is awake during the daytime and he annoys his parents who are trying to sleep. Next comes the part where Plop's parents tell him to go and find out about the dark by talking to someone they've spotted. Next, Plop falls out of a tree and is normally mistaken for something other than an owl, so a Catherine wheel, a darling, a woolly ball. Then Plop has a conversation with the person and finds out some positive aspects, some good things about the dark. Next, Plop goes back to the tree and he tells his parents what he's learnt all about the dark from the person he's had this chat with. And Plop's parents then ask him how he feels about the dark now, and he replies, "I still do not like it at all." Then, at night, Plop is fed by his parents. He's always hungry. And then the whole cycle starts again. So it's like a big wheel going round and round and round. And now we're going to use that structure to start thinking of the different ideas that could happen in your new chapter. So remember, you've come up with your title already, Dark Is, and now we're going to be thinking about the different events that can happen in your chapter that will prove that dark is what you're thinking it is. Now, to help you with this activity, I'm going to provide you with 2 things on the website. The first thing is your new chapter idea planning performer. And what this means is I'm just going to prompt you for a few things that are going to happen. So you're going to have your title, Dark Is, and then the first thing you're going to start with is an idea about how Plop's going to annoy his parents. Is he going to be practicing his eek? Is he going to be trying to get some more food? You make that decision. Then I want you to decide how Plop is going to fall out of a tree. How's he going to travel? Think about the different ways that we've already seen that he's fallen. Then, once he's left the tree, who does he meet? Decide what sort of person and what they're doing. Think about the people you've already seen and the sort of activities they do. And then I want you to think about why they like the dark. Now, really think about the idea of this person's doing something in the dark. How does it show what they like about the dark most? Think about our Father Christmas lady who loves to come out and see the animals because she loves to draw pictures of them. The man with the telescope so he can see the stars. The Boy Scout so he can play games in the dark. the little boy who likes the fireworks in the dark. So think about whether the reason why they like the dark links with what they're actually doing. Now, should you be struggling at this idea, we've got something else that might help. And that's our possible suggestions that you can pinch or borrow to help you sort of come up with an idea quite quickly about what you might be thinking about the dark. And again, this can be found on our website. So you can find Dark is Safe, where Plop's going to meet 3 fox cubs, and they're going to explain that they like the dark because they can run and play safely through the woods as there are fewer humans around. Maybe it's going to be Dark is Peaceful, where you're going to meet a grumpy squirrel who likes the peace and quiet of the dark because it's too much hustle and bustle during the day. Maybe it could be Dark is an Adventure, where you meet a group of girl guides and they are having a nighttime treasure hunt with torches. Possibly your title might be entitled Dark is Magical, where we meet a family who are camping and they can make shadow puppets and tell stories in their tents. Maybe Dark is Revealing, where you can meet a wildlife spotter and they can see all the nocturnal animals with their night vision binoculars. Or possibly Dark is Cool. An old man explains that the lower temperature and the cool night breeze after a hot summer's day is what he likes best. So, if you're struggling to come up with your own ideas, feel free to pinch one of those. And now it's time for you to get cracking on this one, where you're going to plan the possible ideas that might happen in your new chapter of The Owl Who Was Afraid of the Dark. Remember, we're just getting our ideas down in this session. We're not worrying about writing in full sentences. We're not worried about writing that chapter. Because today's learning question is, can I discuss and record ideas? So good luck, and I look forward to hearing what your plans are.